overtime session. Somebody else labeled it overtime. I like that name. I think that's a good idea. Call it overtime. Some people have to actually get up in the morning, so yeah, that rain kind of slows things up. We'll get some rain X for the next time there's rain on the screen.
31st respondents closed for an AOA. 35 at Cayuga. State is unavailable at this time. Vehicle is southbound, northbound lane. 2-minute delay. No vehicle description.
Ooh. Well, we got to go to that one. Southbound in the northbound lane. Well, that doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't.
So,
southbound in the northbound lane. So,
well, we're going to try to get on here in the northbound lane. Hopefully, he's not coming right at us. But he's probably already past this point. So we got a vehicle southbound in the northbound 35. And odds are he might try to get off right here. But we're not going to be able to go southbound in the northbound lane ourselves. But we are going to be able to check the freeway from here. State Patrol can't take it, so we are northbound in the northbound lane, and supposedly he's southbound.
Cayuga is right there.
The odds are that this call is old, because it probably came into the state dispatch first. So what we need to do is get off here and get back on going southbound in southbound lane, right?
Yep.
See if we can see him. But he's not here at Cayuga. I suppose the other problem is he could have gone. There's a flashing red light up here though. Yeah. Guess I got my own lights on too. So we've left St. Paul, come up here to Cayuga. We haven't seen him. I'll get on the air. We checked 35 from Jackson and 10th to the Cayuga. There's no car southbound in that chunk.
Okay, check 35 from Jackson to Cayuga. Didn't see anything at 120.
Should get tired of me. It's alright.
224.
Well, on the plus side, that means he didn't hit anything in that stretch.
224.
Right.
Be advised. You make a PPP at Allery's for me, please.
Proactive police visit at Allery's. One of the other problems here is sometimes when people call in, they get confused about north and south.
Mm-hmm.
You know, could be going north of the southbound lane instead of south of the northbound lane. Alright, so now we are south in the southbound lane. We're going to try to make a guess that person stayed on 35E. Peek over the median, huh, Pat?
Yep.
You can be the spotter. We can see a car over there, or an accident.
Let's see what.
228.
Where he could have gone.
Yeah, what the most likely scenario is here.
Well,
35 is clear from St. Clair up to 94.
Oh,
Clear as advised with Central on the sheriff.
so that means we are. Not everybody does it that way. We are going to go on 94 and see if it came up that way instead. We just heard the car clear it from St. Clair up. So the only other possibility is for the car to go
Can you send me that suspicious
On
23?
the 94 section, correct?
Yep.
Copy that. Address says 46. 4th Street East, Minnesota building. 10th floor of the garage. Gray van. Parked occupied by 2 or 3. So the caller van doesn't overnight for several hours.
Well, assuming it's a non-intoxicated driver, they would get off as soon as they could, right?
Okay, from Cayuga 35.
Not too many non-intoxicated kids get out in the first place, right?
Yeah. Not going the wrong way on a freeway.
Yeah. But by now we would have had many, many more calls in. So I'm going to assume that they got off, and then let's go up to the shooting area. What's down there? Anything? Thought I saw some flashing lights down below.
There are, it's something train related, I think. It's yellow amber lights.
Information provided on CT driver in West from 75 Simon. White Dodge pickup, unknown plate, struck a tree. Caller spoke with the male, slurring his words, now driving eastbound Simon towards Dale. Information 124.
Well, what do you think? Should we go ahead and get into that or run by the sports bar?
I think we should run by the sports bar.
Yeah, with you.
That's the thing with any call on a car that's moving. There's generally a delay between the time the call comes in and it gets dispatched. And on a night like tonight, there's probably even a further delay because a car is being tied up on other calls.
But in either case, we're 2 districts away. That's the West District. We're in the East District, and there are people that can handle that call.
Exactly.
But we know that there's always problems at closing at the Mounts Park Sports Bar, so we're close enough there that we should check that out and make sure nothing happens at the end of the night.
Absolutely.
And it's just about closing time.
And we were able to stay off of Earl Street to go there.
Closing time. Another great song. Closing time. And another great classic movie, Cheers. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Back when Woody Harrelson was a bartender.
Woody.
Sorry about this rain. We'll try to keep you entertained with our voices because it's really hard to see out there.
224.
I forgot to turn my sprinklers off.
Your what?
Sprinklers.
Oh.
Be advised on UV.
150.
Well, they must have cleared it out earlier when they had the problem, huh?
A
Uh-oh.
few folks hanging out.
Looks like they're watching and listening.
Beyond the scene was 213.
I don't know what you think.
What's going on? How is it? How's everybody? Did they kick you out? They turned the lights off or what? What happened to the light?
Second channel 2 for 962.
Was there fights going on tonight or what? Argument? Hey, where's your Brady shirt?
Second channel 2 for 962.
Yeah. A Buccaneer, that's right. Yeah. Well, we just came to make sure.
All right, thanks, officer.
Anybody still inside or not?
They coming out now. Shit, I'm going my car. Rain like a fuck.
Yeah, they said the females were causing the problem. Well, that's interesting because, you know, the drive-by on Rose the other night was a white PT Cruiser.
An HHR is kind of
That's
like
a. Is that an HHR or PT?
That's
an HHR.
HHR, yeah.
Okay, could be.
And that same one was at the memorial there.
This one here?
Yeah.
It was,
Pretty sure that's the same one.
Bravo Tango Hotel 454. We're gonna run that. Bravo Tango Hotel 454. Like they're getting out of the car. Slowly.
And they do at first glance look a lot like a PT Cruiser.
Well, now we got another call up on Clark. 896 Clark. Unknown male saying someone is chasing him. That's close enough to that earlier Maryland and Arcade call. Where the shots are north of Maryland and Arcade. What the heck? It's starting to rain now. Nobody.
Sure is.
Die in the back and two girls driving, or what?
Couldn't tell in the back.
That's an HRT, huh?
HHR. Exact same kind of vehicle that was being chased 2 Wednesdays ago. It's a very familiar name. Last name for sure.
Yeah, they don't want to seem to get out of the car. Well, we're going to keep that plate in our brains.
Yeah.
Must be a lot of people still in there.
Mm-hmm.
How many are in there still? Probably not the best tactical position, do you think?
323 in the area.
How many you got left in there?
Copy all video.
How many are left?
You got very many people left in there? How you doing? Got very many people left in there?
No, it's should be the last one right there.
All right. Oh, good.
Yeah, everything's all good.
A little bit of drama earlier, huh?
Yeah, and at the end, I had to actually use some mace. A bunch of guys trying to rush the door.
Oh, really? What was going on?
I was locking up, and they were all trying to get in. That's all.
Really?
And then I had to deal with that incident on top of a couple of brothers trying to fight at the same time. So
Somebody else said it was the women that were arguing. Was that true or not?
and then there was that, yeah. 3 of them all at once.
You had your hands full tonight.
So what time were you trying to lock up? You close at 1 so they can't get...
We locked the doors at what, 12:40?
Yep.
Bar time, so it's 12:30.
Yep.
And then at 1 o'clock, everyone's out.
So if they try to come here from other bars, they got to be in by a certain time?
Yeah, 12:40.
And you don't let them in. Good for you. Good for you.
Uh,
That's a good strategy. Thanks. Thanks.
Take care. Be safe.
That was the security guard describing to us this evening. By the way, I got new tires. On Monday, I got new tires. Because, you know, at high speeds, you can kind of tell if your tires are getting a little mushy. And you know, this is a pursuit-rated vehicle with pursuit tires, but if you hit enough curbs or corner too fast, the sidewalls get mushy after a while. And so these potholes don't help either, right?
No, they don't.
Back on Earl Street. But I would just, you know, sometimes when that we were in that chase the other night, and I could tell on the cornering that these tires weren't as firm as they were. You could, because I've driven it at high speeds before when it was really handled nice. So a world of difference with the new tires. And all right.
So we're good to go.
All right, Simpson Arcade, silver Dodge crossover driving reckless in the neighborhood. Well,
For 10 minutes.
see if you can find it. Maybe he got off the freeway. So you probably saw the mayor's budget presentation. Mayor Carter is putting a hiring freeze on the department, which essentially means that there'll be a loss in the next 2 years, a loss of 40 police officers. No one's getting laid off. Clearly better than the earlier worry about a $9 million cut where 50 people might have been laid off. But still will have impact on response time over time. And then a week before, I don't know if we talked about it, Mayor Frey said he was reducing the Minneapolis Police Department by 100. And I just want you to think about, well, let me make a metaphor. I'm not faulting anybody, but what's hard for the public is to have inconsistent leadership, right? When one year you're hearing one thing and next year you're hearing another thing, right?
Absolutely.
So I happen to think masks are a good thing for COVID. But if you remember in the very beginning, they told us masks wouldn't do any good. Remember that?
Yep.
That was in March. Masks won't do any good. And so now masks are very important. And I happen to agree with that, but it just goes to show you how things can change so quickly. The metaphor I'm making is here. A year or two ago, the Minneapolis police chief was saying we needed 400 additional cops. Right?
400 more.
400 more. And now, this year, the mayor is cutting 100. So the net loss of 500 police officers. So, I don't know the magic figure for Minneapolis, but I know that as citizens, when people tell us one thing one year and another thing another year, we got to dig in and look for a little more information, right?
Yeah.
So, but I also know this, you know, I was on the city council in 2 cities, but before I was on the city council, I was a police officer in St. Paul before I was there, and I have to tell you, there's a lot of things that city council members know and understand. Generally, it's economic development and zoning issues. There's a lot of things that they're really good at, but they don't know much about what's really going on the street because they're not out there driving around every night seeing it. And so that's why they need to trust their police chiefs, and they need to trust the people that they've appointed in those positions. So I just I just think it's important in life to trust the people that have the most experience in that field. Doesn't matter what elected official you are, just trust people that have done it. There's no substitute for experiencing. And so you just, and unfortunately what happens is people go and try something totally different and it falls flat on its face, and then no one takes responsibility for the failure, right? I mean,
Inevitably.
So just remember, there's no substitute for experience. I used to run into FBI agents, and young. They usually come here after 2 years of experience, and they'd want to take over a case, okay? And we'd have investigators with 10 or 15 years of experience. But because they were FBI agents and they were young and hard chargers, they think they know the best way. And constantly I would have to tell this, of course the older guys were fine. I have to tell them, hey, this guy that you think you can do a better job, he's got 15 years of doing this. What makes you think you know how to do it better than him? Well, I went to Quantico and whatever. And the reality is, it doesn't matter what job it is, carpentry, find a person that has the experience and then just enjoy their experience and use it to its highest benefit. And I just hate to see the world run by people that are guessing at it. If I'm going to fix something, I'm going to call somebody that knows what they're doing, because my 14-year-old probably knows more by looking at YouTube how to fix things than I do. But there's some things I'm really good at. But if I'm not good at it, don't pretend to be good at it. So, I don't know. That's my speech for tonight. Got anything you want to add to that, old timer?
Well, when you appoint somebody who is, through experience, an expert at what they do. For instance, a police chief. Trust them on policing issues. Trust your Parks and Rec guy on Parks and Rec issues. Trust your public works person on how to plow the streets and when and how often. Leave whatever the topic is, whatever their level, their area of expertise is, leave it with them.
Well, and if it's a total failure, replace the person with another experienced person, maybe more experienced or whatever. But don't try to subject your judgment when you don't have experience, right? I mean, it's
common sense.
That's the problem. And and I do think this whole issue of political appointments, we need to have chiefs and sheriffs that are able to stand up and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. In St. Paul, the police chief has a 6-year term. It's always been that way, a 6-year term, so that they can be outspoken. In Minneapolis, I think it's a 3-year term now, which makes it far more difficult for Chief Arradondo to speak his real mind.
Yep.
A lot of cities have will and pleasure chiefs. That means that if the city manager, administrator doesn't want them, they're gone. But if you really want honest leadership, you need to have some security in the police department and the chief, so they can speak about what they think the needs are. So
I have a copy of the major decisions on our case for vehicles speeding around the area, 142.
Got to run down here a little bit just to check on my friends at this end of the east side. We're eastbound on Maryland at Johnson Parkway. And it doesn't sound like we're going to get a lot more calls, but we will get some at 2 o'clock, 2:30 when the bars close. once and for all.
No doubt.
Pat and I will be here till around 3 with 911 overtime.